So if you are eating healthy and you are taking in tons of, let's say, avocado, let's say tons of fruits, really, if you're not losing weight, you are never in a caloric deficit. Alright, it's just how it's defined. Alright, because eating healthy does not mean you are eating to actually lose weight. Hey fam, what's up? Hope you are having an amazing day. If you haven't, hopefully me saying that actually helped. If not, it's okay too. Anyway, Hock here. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, I hope this channel can provide you with some insights, perspectives on different aspects of fitness, nutrition, and how life is all that and more. So for today's question and answer, your question was, even after eating right and doing strength training, you are not losing weight or inches. You want to know why is that so? So great question, and let's break it down into the different points. So first, let's start off with eating right. Okay, so firstly, we probably want to clarify what you mean by eating right. I'm gonna go ahead and make a few assumptions and go through those assumptions. Alright, so eating right for most people is eating healthy. Okay, and of course, depending on those people who may know a bit more about calories, eating right to them means that you're eating the right amount of calories for you to, probably lose some weight or fat. So let's first talk about eating right in terms of eating healthy. So eating healthy does not mean that you're definitely gonna lose weight or lose fat. Okay, like I mentioned, those people who know about calories probably aware of this already, but eating right in terms of eating healthy means this: if you are eating healthy, you're probably choosing foods that has more micronutrients, right, that are quote unquote healthier, depending on whichever society or whichever culture is promoting this to you. Eating healthier, so things like junk foods, chips, ice cream, all this stuff are not really healthy. So you're not eating those things and you're probably eating, healthy. Just because you're eating healthy, right, doesn't mean that you are eating below your certain amount of calories that is needed to maintain your current weight. Okay, so if you are eating healthy and you are taking in tons of, let's say, avocado, let's say tons of fruits, what have you, these are not bad by itself, but once you combine all this together, the amount of calories you're consuming is actually way past your maintenance calories, right? Maintenance calories is the amount of calories you need, like I just mentioned, in terms of maintaining your current weight, current state. Okay, so because of that, you're not actually shifting weight. Okay, so it's like a chicken and egg thing. So really, if you're not losing weight, you are never in a caloric deficit. Alright, it's just how it's defined. So I hope that cleared up a couple of misconceptions there. Alright, because eating healthy does not mean you are eating to actually lose weight or fat. It's a different topic altogether. Alright, does it mean that I encourage not eating healthy and losing weight or fat? I would say I encourage balance, right? Because physical health, mental health, emotional health, to me, it's all things to be taken care of. And I'm gonna have that, Ben and Jerry's ice cream so that I can enjoy myself, my life, and that nice psychological, nice kick. Alright. So yeah, so hopefully that got that down. The second point, which is eating right in terms of eating the right amount of calories for you to lose weight. So like I just mentioned, and if you made the link, you probably already know what I'm about to say. Okay, so you are eating the right amount of calories for you to lose weight, but the fact is you're not losing weight. So what does that mean? Firstly, it could mean that you're actually not in a caloric deficit. So like I said, it's an English term definition thing. So technically, if you're not losing weight, you're not eating in a deficit. Okay, so that could be one, you're not eating lesser than what you should be eating, or rather, you're not eating lesser than your maintenance calories, and you should try, or you could try, eating just a bit lesser to see how that affects your weight loss. Alright, notice I'm talking about weight loss and not fat loss. Right, these are two different things, but calories wise, it usually affects the weight. Okay, and the thing is, in terms of the caloric deficit, there are a couple of reasons why you may not be losing weight, even if in all the situation you're actually healthy, you're doing pretty well, you should be losing weight. The other reason is actually because of stress. Alright, when you are in a high stress situation or position, what tends to happen is your body, it's trying to adapt to that stress, and it doesn't have to be physical, it doesn't have to be mental, it could be accumulation of everything. Because you're in that high stress state, what happens is your body tends to want to maintain status quo. Okay, so even though you might be eating at a caloric deficit, alright, when you are feeling better, you could have been losing weight, but because of the high stress state, you end up not being able to lose that weight. Interesting fact here, I have probably 1 or 2 members or coaching members which I've coached before or am currently coaching, that actually perform better when they are outside of my program. Okay, not because the program doesn't work, because after that they do let me know, but it's because of them being in a program, they tend to stress themselves out by placing a lot of expectations on themselves. Alright, and then what happens is, with the knowledge gained from the program that we put them through, once they're on their own, they are no longer in a program, mentally they are out of that stress state, right? Out of the expectation, out of this box they've set for themselves. And then what happens is their weight loss, their fat loss just starts kicking in and just going. Okay, so stress is really important, and this could be one of the reasons why you are already kind of eating a low enough amount of calories, but you just don't see the weight shifting. Alright, so those 2 points there, eating right in terms of eating healthy, eating right in terms of eating a low amount of calories, I've touched on them. Let me know if you have any questions below, but those are really important points to note. Okay, and then let's go on to strength training. So you are already doing strength training, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard that you want to lose weight, you want to lose fat, in the inches, for example. You have to do some kind of resistance training. Alright, in this case, strength training. So yes, right, in terms of fat loss, and you want to make sure that you are gaining or even maintaining some kind of muscles, you do want to perform some kind of resistance training. Now here's the kicker, right? Just because you're doing strength training or resistance training, let's just define resistance training. Alright, let's just use that term from now on. Resistance training doesn't mean that you're going to be stimulating enough muscles. You're not going to be sufficiently, doesn't mean that you're sufficiently stimulating muscles enough for it to break down and then recover. And it also doesn't mean that you're naturally going to be losing fat just because you are doing resistance training. And that's indirectly because of the first point, which is it doesn't mean that you're stimulating your muscles. Okay, so you've probably heard of this phrase, the whole 80% nutrition, 20% workouts. I think that's really bullshit, but there is a truth in the sense that nutrition and your workouts come together. Okay, I don't stand for 80% nutrition, 20% workouts, because that sounds like a lazy person trying to just say that you don't have to work out, or you can focus less on working out. I do believe it's 100% nutrition, 100% workouts, and there is a synergistic effect between the both, and depending on how you're programming them, it's really going to help you not speed up the process, but make the process a bit more effective. Okay, so when it comes to strength training, the recovery, alright, making sure that you're having sufficient amount of protein so that you can recover from that muscular damage is going to be important, so that you can actually grow the muscles and increase your metabolism. Alright, so what I really want to point your attention to is that resistance training by itself doesn't mean that you're definitely going to be able to grow muscles, alright, if there isn't sufficient amount of stimulation, alright, and secondly, if there isn't enough nutrients for you to recover from the damage, the muscles are not going to grow. Now you may ask, okay, so Hock, how do you go ahead and stimulate your muscles sufficiently? Probably going to go more in depth into that, but I will say this: sufficient stimulation for your muscles probably can be structured in a way that you're progressively overloading your muscles, right? It doesn't mean that you have to feel sore or what have you in order for you to actually, feel that you are stimulated. So honestly speaking, you don't really know whether you are stimulating your muscles just based off of how you feel. Alright, just because you feel sore doesn't mean that you stimulated the muscles enough. Okay, what I will say that you do want to have structure, and in order for you to make sure that you are sufficiently stimulating your muscles, you want to make sure that the weight that you're using, if you're working out in a gym or what have you, is increasing across time. Alright, you want to get stronger, you want to push heavier weights. And the second thing is the volume. Alright, I think it's good to stick to maybe a certain number of sets, a specific number of reps, but sometimes you gotta know when to push yourself beyond this set rule. Okay, so for example, you told yourself you want to do 3 sets of 10, but when you're doing it, you may feel like, okay, this is the 10th rep. Okay, cool. That's like pretty much all I have to offer. But just try pushing one more. Sometimes all it takes is just pushing that one more, and every single workout session when you just try to push yourself that one more, you end up realizing that your 10th rep was nowhere near what you could have done. Alright, you could have done a good 13 reps, 14 reps, and 15 reps. So sometimes that stimulation really, it comes from just being willing to push yourself and see how much further you can go. Obviously, you don't want to push yourself every single set, every single time. Okay, it's strategic in a sense that you maybe want to go ahead and try pushing yourself that much more, maybe on the last set for each exercise that you want to do. At least then that doesn't take away strength, for the rest of the sets if you started at the start of the first set. Okay, so stimulation really works like this, and obviously different people are stimulated differently. You still got to think about your rep schemes and all that stuff. I'm probably going to go into that in a different video and go through that step by step. But in this case, I hope that answered your question in terms of how the stimulation of the muscles go about and how do you sufficiently stimulate it enough. Okay, so once again, as a wrap up, the question was, even after eating right and doing strength training, you're not losing weight, not losing inches of fat. Alright, and the reason is, firstly, you don't want to confuse eating healthy with eating to lose weight or fat. Secondly, just because you think you are eating in a caloric deficit may not mean that you are in a deficit. And of course, when you're in a high stress state, sometimes this stress do affect you to the point that even if you're eating lesser and lesser, it's not going to work. So at this point, you may want to manage your stress, if not increase your caloric intake for a good period of time, just to reset yourself and then go into it again. And of course, strength training, we just covered it. Resistance training does not mean that you are naturally going to grow muscles, naturally going to stimulate your muscles. The nutrition part comes in for your recovery as well as your stress management and your sleep. And of course, stimulation is going to come about when you have a structure and sometimes push yourself past that fixed rule. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Let me know the questions or the comments below. Do you understand now a couple of good reasons why you are not losing weight or losing fat? For you personally, do you feel like could be a possible reason why you're not losing weight or losing fat from what I just shared? What was your biggest takeaway? And leave it in the comments below. As usual, alright, drop your questions below as well, because I will pick and answer the questions that you leave. Alright, I appreciate your question, I appreciate the comments, I appreciate you. As usual, stay safe, practice gratitude, always be appreciative, and let's just love life. Alright, fitness, health, all that. Love life in its totality. Okay, till the next time, stay great, stay awesome. Alright, Hock here, signing off.